Hello and welcome. How are you? How are you doing? Welcome to Spotlight. I noticed there's a button I was supposed to push here. It was my fault here. Tonight is the 45th annual Classics Production Grand Showcase of the Los Alamitos School District Jazz Program Spotlight. In order to uphold the strong tradition started by Chuck Wackerman, In order to uphold the strong tradition started by Chuck Wackerman and continued with the directors before me, students and parents have put extra effort into creating a show like no other school concert experience. We hope you enjoy it. I would like to give a warm welcome to all the elementary, Oak, and McAuliffe parents and families and friends here this evening. I'm so proud of the hard work that your directors and students put into making music that is both impressive and inspiring. As this show continues to evolve, we have stayed true to Chuck Wackerman's vision that he set in the very beginning. Number one, showcase the talented musicians in our school district. Next, let's raise money to support the school district's jazz programs. And finally, introduce students, parents, and community to professional jazz musicians. Tonight, you're not only going to hear the wonderful sounds of our amazing elementary through high school musicians, you will meet and listen to 3 talented guest artists as they perform with each of the featured ensembles. You know, as an added benefit of having all the student musicians from elementary, middle school, and high school together under one roof, and in the same room backstage, they begin to form bonds with each other. You know, make friendships and solidarity while they're backstage. Now you might be thinking, a lot of students to manage, but don't you worry. You know, we have chaperones backstage, and you know, with the children here in Los Al, we know that we have the best students in the world. So as a matter of fact, we have a new system here. We have some backstage footage of them, you know, breaking bread and fellowship together. So Becca, would you show our backstage footage of the students? Are there around? Wait. I know what you're doing, Becca. You're trying to trick us there, but it's black and white. There's no way that could be real footage. That's Becca. Could you show the real footage of what's going on? You know, the goal for tonight is for us to catch a glimpse of what is possible for students at the middle school and high school and professional level. Our guest artists will also share insights and anecdotes on how they achieve success in their own lives. I want to thank you, everyone, for coming out to support jazz in Los Al. This community is playing such a significant role in keeping America's true art form alive. And as you can see, our first band tonight is on stage. Please welcome to the stage the Oak Middle School Jazz Band with special guest artist Jeremy Lappett under the direction of Mr. Robert Harrell.
for being here. Welcome to Spotlight. You are in for a treat with some amazing night of music. Hey, one more time for Jeremy Lappet over there. This is the Oak Middle School Jazz Band. That was Day by Day. You heard from Colin Johnson and Asher Van Amler on that one. So happy to be here. So wonderful that we have an evening where we can celebrate all of the jazz that's happening all throughout the district. Very happy to be here. This is our tribute to the great Count Basie. We're closing out today's piece called Duet. This is going to feature two trumpet players back there, Nathan Moronis and Brianna Mendez. And it's going to start off with Matthew Jensen from the piano. Matthew Jensen on the piano. Nathan Moronis and Brianna Mendez back there on the trumpet.
Middle school up there. Excellent, fantastic job. So talented. At this time, I want to recognize our district board administration. We have on the school board, Ms. Marlis Davidson is here tonight. If you could turn the lights on, please, the house lights on, so we can recognize our school board members. Marlis Davidson, Meg Catulli. From the district office, we have Mr. Chris Vlasic. From the high school, Dr. Greg Stone, and from high school, Kiva Speratos. Thank you. I saw some LoSal teachers in the audience. Thank you for being here and supporting us. You know, it's such a long concert, and we wish we could have Oak and McAuliffe and Youth Center and all the bands play all of their songs, but we have enough space for 2 numbers. We know that the schools have a library of songs they could play, and we'd love to see them at the festivals and at their home concerts, but here we have just enough time for 2. I thought that was an amazing 2 choices that Oak played. Next on stage behind us, we have the Youth Center. So please welcome to the stage Youth Center Variety Band with special guest Enrique Sanchez under the direction of Barry Kogart.
In Los Alamitos. We're going to play a couple tunes. The first one is called Bossa Cha Cha. One, Check 1, 2. Oh, it is on. Okay. Alrighty, folks. Let's see. Soloing, improvising on their instruments. Today we had Garrett on the clarinet and Kieran on the trumpet and Noah on the alto saxophone. We have one more tune in our set. Let me just quickly go down the band personnel. On the far end, to your far right, we have on violin, we have Noah. Yeah. Followed by Natalie on violin, followed by Caitlin. A group of extremely advanced violinists. And then next to Caitlin is Shawaki on the flute. And we have Emmy on the alto saxophone. Over here playing first base, we have Fletcher. I'm playing second base. Very focused, sorry. And sitting in on drums today, we have Max Nguyen. Yeah, how about that? And if you're lucky, you'll get to hear Max play later too. I think we're going to bring up Enrique now to sit in with this band. And earlier today when we were rehearsing, Enrique had this neat idea to do what's called a call and response with the musicians. It kind of gets people pretty comfortable with soloing and things like that. So we're going to feature Enrique and a few of the other members of the band performing Booker T and the MG's Green Onions. This is going to be great.
Great job. That was awesome. One more round of applause for the Youth Center Variety Band. Awesome. As we said, one of the goals was this night is a fundraiser, and it would not be possible without our generous sponsors. And I'd like to recognize in the Platinum Circle, we have Dr. Avani Patel of Alamitos Eye Care. Also in the Platinum Circle, the DuraSense Corporation. In the Gold Circle, we have Dr. Mauricio Halbron. Also in the Gold Circle, Dr. Mark Tsai. In the Silver Circle, and thank you very much for applauding after everybody, I appreciate that. Debbie and Rob Feldman and Keller Williams Luxury Homes International. In the Bronze Circle, Coralie Prince. Party Princess Productions and the Cass family. Also in the Bronze Circle, we have Rossmore Dental Group. And also in the Bronze Circle, Waite Orthodontics. A lot of sponsors, so thankful for it. Now we have at the Friends of Jazz at Los Al level, we have Bogart's Coffee House, West Coast Party Rentals, Dr. Mark Mekas, Jose and Karen Cabanillas, Catella Deli, Maury's Music, and Wayne Perry Incorporated, and the Lighter family. Round of applause for all the sponsors. Another way that we raise money and fundraise is through a silent auction. We have a silent auction outside if you're so interested, and that will close just at the end of intermission. Now on with the show. Please welcome to the stage, just down the street, McAuliffe Middle School Jazz Band with special guest Jeremy Lappett under the direction of Mr. Frank Fontaine.
Thank you so much for having us. My name is Frank Fontaine. I have the privilege of being the instrumental music instructor at McAuliffe Middle School. Nobody came here to hear me talk this evening. You came to celebrate your children and their talent and their creativity. That was Dean Mack on the alto saxophone. That was Anders Jew on the clarinet. And the spectacular saxophone section that we're very proud was just awarded the most outstanding saxophone section at the Irvine Jazz Festival. They earned it. We had a sound check this afternoon, and it was a huge thrill to have Mr. Jeremy Lappet. Did everybody get to meet him yet? Yes. Okay, you did. Okay. So we got to make music with him, and we just had a blast. Please help me welcome Mr. Jeremy back to the stage to join us for a composition by our friend, Mr. Gordon Goodwin. This is entitled Tweet Fatigue. Hope that you enjoy. And everybody's looking at me. I don't know. The question you guys have, I don't know. I hope you brought your wings. We're gonna wing it. Kayla, you're on first. Yeah? Okay, good. There we go. Enjoy.
Thank you.
How about another round of applause for McAuliffe Middle School? That was an awesome song, actually. A couple of weeks ago, the orchestra went to the Sigerstrom Hall and performed for the Philharmonic Society of Orange County's high school orchestra festival. And why am I talking about orchestra at a jazz festival? Because when I was there, the volunteers, they're all volunteers. Most of them are retired, and they're serving the community through volunteering at this orchestra festival. And they all ran up to me and said, "Do you know Coralie Prince?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do," right? Instantly I was cool, and then I was important because I knew Coralie Prince. And this is my VIP segment, so I would like to recognize Coralie Prince is in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Coralie Prince. And if you don't know Coralie Prince, she taught here in this district for many years, and so many students were impacted by her love and her dedication to music and her joy for music and her musicianship. And I was lucky enough to have a class at Castle Long Beach with her late great husband, John Prince, and so many people were touched by the Prince family there. So thank you for being here, Coralie Prince. She's always here, all the concerts. Love you. And you can't go anywhere, any jazz festival, literally, without anybody saying, "Well, do you know Chuck Wackerman?" Of course, right? And so Mr. Wackerman, Chuck Wackerman is here. Thank you so much for being here, Chuck. The orchestra went to a SCSBOA festival at Kennedy High School, and this relates because at the SCSBOA festivals, unlike the jazz festivals, you're applauding, you're taking pictures, and we're announcing soloists, and you're improvising. At the SCSBOA festivals, that are more of a adjudication clinical festival where the detailed adjudications are written down on tape, and there's like 2 parents in the audience, and not many people applaud. So the orchestra performs and plays, and this year at the Kennedy High School Festival, 1 person applauded. 1 person. Sometimes nobody applauds. And that 1 person was Mr. Larry Bowen, who's here tonight. And Larry Bowen goes to all of the high school shows. And he came out to the Kennedy Festival to come support us. We appreciate that. Thank you, Larry. So glad you're here. And if I ever need water backstage, who's the 1 person who would always make sure that I have water backstage? My mother, right? But I'm okay, Mom, and you're here. I have water backstage. Please welcome my mom's here tonight, Linda Newman. Our VIPs this evening. And back to the show. Please welcome to the stage Los Al Jazz 3 with special guest Enrique Sanchez. Brother Mister. You heard from Fabian Romero on the alto saxophone, Fabian Romero, Frankie Garcia on the trumpet, Frankie Garcia, and Ivan Jacinto on the tenor saxophone. Ivan Jacinto. Our next song is called Sabor de Cuba. We're going to hear from Brandon Judy on the piano. Oh, Brandon, you have some fans here tonight. He knows. We're also going to bring out, well, before we bring out, let's make sure we focus on it. We have Sarah Remlin on the flute. Sarah Remlin's going to be playing on the flute. Sarah has friends and family here tonight, man. Also, we're going to have Cole Hardwick. Cole Hardwick on the alto saxophone. Is that right, Cole? And Ryan Hall on the trombone. Ryan Hall. And also, we're going to bring out Enrique Sanchez for the solo section. Here is Sabor de Cuba, Jazz 3. Jazz 3, Enrique Sanchez. Oak Middle School, McCall Middle School, Youth Variety Band, Jeremy Alamitos. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the second half. We'll see you after intermission. This one works. Awesome. Well, welcome back to the second half of the show. If you're wondering why we have chairs out and a coffee mug, it's because this year we would like to introduce you to the artists and allow you to get to know them a little better through a quick conversation. But before we get to the conversation, we're going to roll a video. Please look to the screen and let me introduce to you Day in the Life of Jeremy Latta. Please put your hands together for Jeremy Latta. And yes, that's Jazz 2 back there. Awesome. Give it up for Jazz 2. Jeremy, tell us about your early life as a musician and what inspired you to pursue music.
I luckily had great role models and band teachers that are just like you from middle school and high school, and having people like you that helped me get to where I am, it's probably the most effective way to get to end up doing this for a living. Although, I mean, when I was that age coming up, I didn't know that I'd be now 30 years old sitting here and, you know, helping the next generation. I didn't really know what to expect, but I'm really glad I'm sitting right here and it's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. What does it look like in your world as a professional musician? And give us an example of what you do.
What does it look like? Well, every week is different. This week I have been here for 3 days working with you guys, and it's been an amazing, satisfying, gratifying experience. I was working at Disneyland. There's a lot of different bands there. I was playing in the marching band, if you happened to be there earlier this week. What else? I played at a little club in East Hollywood and just played some jazz with some good buddies of mine. And next week is completely different and full of surprises, and I know what's going on, but you know, it's a whole different thing. You know, it's always new surprises, so I like that part of it.
What advice would you give to a student or students and parents of students who are interested in this career?
I would tell parents and supporters of kids who want to be musicians, I would say to always just constantly support them, even if it seems like a daunting future. Yesterday, our other guest Enrique was saying that being a musician can oftentimes have a negative connotation because it can be unstable and unpredictable. But being a musician or being a performer is a wonderful thing if you understand how to share it with people. People really do love music. People love being able to relate to a performer, and there's so many different outlets that you can take being a musician. You know, you could be a teacher, you can be a performer, you can be a writer, you can be an arranger. You know, my life is pretty unpredictable, especially considering this week I totally I totally changed. I think I told you earlier or yesterday that I totally, even this week, I just changed everything that I'm doing, and I dropped my employment status at my main job at Disney. I dropped down to sub because I'm trying to pursue different things, and that's scary. But I think it's really healthy for your kids to be able to take these same risks, but to also be responsible. I mean, there's a balance to it. So, you know, help your kids get along with learning the value of money and saving. That really helps a lot, especially since, you know, if you end up sending them to school without a scholarship, there's a lot of potential speed bumps there. But if anything, just, you know, show them your support and find them people like Mr. Padilla or other teachers. I know that one of the students here's teacher is, I'm not sure if other students here have Mr. Mike Resnick, who's a great friend of mine, great saxophone teacher to some of these guys. Just having the right inspirational people will help point you in the right direction, and that's the most important thing too. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeremy Lockett. Please look to the screen and we'll see a day in the life of Mr. Enrique Sanchez.
Performing her new hit Havana, once again, Camila Cabello!
Take me back to my home, half of my heart is in Havana, yeah. He took me back to East Atlanta, oh, my heart is in Havana, Havana.
Please welcome Mr. Enrique Sanchez. All right, on. All right, Enrique, tell us about your early life as a musician and what inspired you to pursue as a career.
Well, my father was a musician. He played around. I'm from Orlando, Florida, Kissimmee to be exact. But my father was a musician locally. He played gigs at night, and so I kind of grew up around music. He had a lot of friends who would come in for rehearsals, and I was very exposed to it at a very young age. And in a way, kind of deterred me from it because, you know, oh, dad does this. I said, I don't want to do that. You know, I'm too cool for that. So I wanted to play sports, but my mother was such a lover of music and the arts, and she also didn't want me to go to any of the local schools in my area because I didn't live in too great of an area. But they opened up an art school, so she kind of forced my hand and said, no, you're going to go to this school. So reluctantly went to Osceola County School for the Arts in Kissimmee, and I didn't play an instrument really. I kind of dabbled on other things, but I didn't want to play anything that I had already played. I didn't want to be there in the first place. And honestly. But so the day came to pick your instruments. We all had a day where we tried different things. You know, I knew what a flute was. I knew it was probably sort of the easiest, which now that I know music, that's not true. But, you know, I was like, oh, how hard can that be? So I told him I want to play flute. He's like, yeah, okay, maybe. Next day, I show up with a flute. I told my parents, I'm playing flute, I'm gonna buy this. And so we bought a flute, showed up, teacher says, where'd you get that? I said, I bought a flute, I'm ready to play flute. He's like, you can't, we have too many flute players, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, okay, well, he's like, well, pick any other instrument, clarinet, trombone, trumpet. I was like, what's trumpet? You play trumpet. So now I'm here.
What's the trumpet? That's awesome. What does it look like in your world as a professional musician? Give us an example of what you do.
Um, well, I do a lot of like what you saw on the screen. I play with different artists, current popular artists, from Camila Cabello to Megan Trainor to Aloe Black to, just basically whoever is in need of a trumpet player. I'm a lot of times the guy they call, luckily. So, when I'm not doing that, that obviously doesn't happen every day. I play around town. I do a lot of recording sessions. I write music for little cartoons and films and stuff like that. I practice a lot, and I play with my dog at home. So, just try and live a normal life too.
Nice. The same question I asked Jeremy. What advice would you give to students and parents of students who are interested in this career?
Students, as you guys can see, they're doing the right thing. They sound amazing, don't they? Round of applause. Good job, guys. So, for the students, just keep doing what you guys are doing. Parents, much like what Jeremy said, just support them. My mother was so supportive of me. She would drive me to every single band practice, band concert, private lessons. A trumpet player would come into town playing at some club. She would drive me to go see that. So, just do all you can to support them, and, as you guys are doing, all you guys are here, which is amazing. My school concerts growing up, it was like scattered parents, and this is truly amazing. So give y'all selves a round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, Enrique Sanchez. Thank you, Enrique. We'll be right back with Jazz 2. you very much. That was Gus Slider on the tenor saxophone. Gus Slider. And Benicio Halbron on the baritone saxophone. Benicio. That was El Abrazo. Our next tune is entitled 15 Minutes Late. We're going to bring out Enrique again.
Let's go, Reese, let's go.
Reese has some fans. We have a lot of soloists on this. Raise your hand if you're soloing on this tune. Raise your hand. All right. We have Eric Schulte on the tenor saxophone. Eric Schulte on the tenor saxophone. All right. Alejandro Miranda is going to solo on this song. Alejandro Miranda. We have Trey Lucason on the trombone. Trey's going to solo. Gus Slider's going to do some soloing on that one more time. Gus Slider. And Enrique's going to play for us as well. Also, so we have 15 minutes late. Los Al Jazz 15 minutes late. Los Al Jazz, take a bow, ladies and gentlemen, take a bow. Los Al Jazz 2. Excellent. We're going to do a quick stage changeover and be right back.
Guess it's true, I'm no good at a one-night stand. But I still need love, I'm just a woman. These nights never seem to go to bed. Will you hold my hands? Oh, won't you stay with me? Because you're all that I need. Well, this ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me.
Please welcome to the stage, for the first time tonight, Miss Maya Sykes.
Thank you.
Okay, officially you're going to get a few more minutes than Jeremy and Enrique because
Aww.
you know no one knows you yet. And just want you to know I have a little cough, so my mother would tell me don't ever chew gum or eat candy on stage, but I'm going to do this to try to.
That's
keep the
okay.
cough. Is that okay? All right, thank you. Maya, tell us about your early life and what inspired you to pursue this music career.
Well, I came from a long line of performers and musicians, and my parents met on tour because that's what my parents did back then. My mother was backup singing for a group called Earth, Wind and Fire. And my father was playing horns for a group called the Commodores. They were on a double bill on a tour, and all of the costumes were designed by my great uncle, a man named Bill Whitten, whose most famous costume contribution was he designed the glove for Michael Jackson. So he thought, hey, you crazy kids, maybe you guys should get together. It didn't last that long, but it did make the genetic cocktail that is moi.
Keep going. Okay. What is it? So we saw The Voice. You know, tell us about that. So what team were you on?
I was actually on the first Pharrell team ever. That was the first time Pharrell was ever a judge.
Does Pharrell call you these days?
Not at all. Not ever, never.
No. So what's a day in the life? What's it like in your world as a professional singer musician?
Being a professional singer is a myriad of things that you kind of have to learn how to juggle and balance. And I heard Jeremy and Enrique say something to the same effect that being a professional musician means a lot of balls in the air. For myself, I work in a bunch of fields as a vocalist. So I do lead work and I also do background singing work. I sometimes work as a vocal contractor, so sometimes I hire other vocalists. Sometimes I work as a vocal arranger, so I'll arrange the background oohs and ahs that you'll hear in a movie or in a commercial. I also work for 2 record labels and I write music that's just used for licensing for television and film. So sometimes like I'm on a episode of the new Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, literally being like, oh, ah. That's literally all I did for 2 minutes. And then, you know, they spread their Queer Eye for the Straight Guy love and a check came in my mail.
So,
I know I'm a lot. It's
we love it. We love it. We love it. So, a lot of musicians go to college for music, to study music, right? What was your college path?
Well, I went to study music and other things. I always knew I wanted to be a musician, so I figured I should study music and other things that might assist me. So I triple majored in political science, African American studies, and music composition, and I went to Yale, which is in Connecticut. And then I also have a Master's of Distinction in Political Science from Oxford. I won a fellowship to go there, so I went for that master's program for a year. And also studied some very interesting classes at the School of Oriental and African Studies. So basically this means I have a lot of collegiate debt. And I'm looking for sponsorship, so if any of you want to adopt an older black lady,
Did you go to any other schools for music?
I did. I went to the Musicians Institute to play piano, but I'm a terrible piano player. But it was a great extension of my musical education. Yale's music program is largely composition based, so there's a lot of emphasis on sight reading and knowing counterpoint, and then you can take some upper master level classes. But if you want to really get your hands on any kind of vocational parts of music, I think it's beneficial to go to both a university and a vocational school for some classes. I think that you can get benefit from both. And I think that you should really try to seek a musical education that tailors specifically to what you want to do. There's no point in wasting a bunch of money. You should really kind of cut to the quick if that's something you want to study.
She'll be out in the lobby if you want to talk to her about the future. So she's been doing this, basically taking us under her wing and just loving us and sharing herself with stories. And on Thursday night we were in dress rehearsal, and some of you may have heard this from the students, but all the power went out in the whole block. So Jazz 1, who was behind us, and Maya and myself, we just started talking, and the kids had their cell phones out, and one student said, if you had one song to sing for the rest of your life and you could only sing that one song, what would it be? And you said?
I sang them a song by one of my favorite artists, an artist named Jeff Buckley, and it's a song called Lilac Wine. It's actually a cover of a song, but his interpretation of it is so beautiful, and it's one of those songs I've always sung for, I don't know, maybe 20 years. And it's the song that I always hold on to. It makes me both happy and sad. So I think those songs that reflect all of your moods are the ones you really want to hold on to forever. You know what I mean?
She sang it to us for, it was like 4 minutes, just her singing, and every student was wrapped. And we were in the dark, pitch black, with a few cell phones just dimly lit. She's singing this song. And we erupted in applause. It was amazing. We'll never forget that. It was amazing. Final question. All right. So what advice would you give to students and parents of students who are interested in this wonderful career?
Well, I think that I am in a unique category because I never had parents that said you should get a different job or maybe you should consider a backup plan. And so that's my advice, is if this is what you really want to do, there's no plan B, right? And to all of the parents who think that that might not be feasible, you've met 3 people who earn professional livings as musicians, as singers. So if instead of trying to steer your children towards what was safe, what if instead you steered your children towards their ultimate dream? Who would they be then? So what if you dared to do that?
Amazing. Miss Maya Sykes, ladies and gentlemen. We'll hear her sing in just a moment. Thank you. Quick changeover, and then we'll have Jazz 1 on. Cass on tenor saxophone. Max Cass, that was Little Karen. We would like to bring to the stage Miss Maya Sykes to sing A Tisket, A Tasket. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Maya Sykes. Hi, Maya.
Hi.
Why did you choose A Tisket, A Tasket?
Well, when I was growing up, I used to go to record stores because they had those back then. And I would take my little allowance, and the first record I ever purchased for myself for 99 cents was A Tisket, a Tasket by Ella Fitzgerald. And I found out that when Ella Fitzgerald auditioned for Chick Webb's band, she was originally going to audition as a tap dancer, but she got so nervous she couldn't move her feet. So instead she started scatting, and that's how she got the job.
A tisket, a tasket, a brown and yellow basket. I sent a letter to my mommy. On the way I dropped it. I dropped it, I dropped it. Yes, on the way I dropped it. A little girlie picked it up and put it in her pocket. She was trucking on down the avenue with not a single thing to do. She went peck, peck, pecking all around. When she spotted on the ground, she took it, my little yellow basket. And if she doesn't bring it back, I think that I will die. A tisket, a tasket, I lost my yellow basket. And if that girlie don't return it, I don't know what I'll do. Oh dear, I wonder where my basket can be. Oh dear, that little girl I really like to see. A tasket, a brown and yellow basket. Won't someone help me find my basket and make me happy again? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Just a little yellow basket. Oh, little yellow basket.
So, fun little story. There's a part where the band has to sing, and at first, when we started rehearsing, the band was like, and I had to tell them that in my business, whenever you're on TV, there's something called double scale. So if you have to play an instrument, and then they put a microphone in front of you, and you have to sing, you get 2 paychecks. Huh? So, give it up for these people who just learned double scale. This next song is by one of my favorite artists, and I was very fortunate to have worked with her. This is the interpretation of What a Difference a Day Makes from Miss Natalie Cole.
What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours brought the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. My yesterday was blue, dear. Today I'm a part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear. Since you said you were mine, Lord, oh, what a difference a day makes. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can't be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven with you. Fine, you got love on the menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you. What a difference a day makes. If a rainbow before me, clouds of above cannot be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that really kiss in the air, when you find you got love on the menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference in you. Oh, what a difference a day makes. 24-hour little hour brought the sun and the flowers where they used to be rain. It is heaven when you find your love on the menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you. The difference is you. The difference is you.
Maya Sykes, ladies and gentlemen. It's Maya Sykes, Jazz 1. Don't worry, she'll be back. This next segment is really special because we get to bring on special guests from the string orchestra. So we're going to bring the string orchestra on, and we're really blessed to have professional coaches work with the students throughout the week. So we're going to bring on some of our coaches as well to come and play with us, and we're going to turn into a small group ensemble. So Jazz 1, you can exit the stage, and I'm going to have the strings come on stage. So we'll do a quick change over. On the drums, Mr. Tyler Kutel, and who, well, is not a coach of ours, and she certainly could be. She's stepping in tonight for one of our coaches, and her name is Miss Teresa Sanchez. And say hello to members of our string orchestra. We'll get you another chair. We need one more chair. Raise your hand if you need a chair in the string orchestra here. 1, 2. Raise your hand nice and high. 1, 2, 3, 4 chairs. We'll get you chairs. While they're doing that, the string orchestra was at the Segerstrom Hall festival that I mentioned earlier today, and they received Superior from the judges there. Round of applause for the orchestra. And they're at the Poly Festival, and at the Poly Festival they received Superior in Sight Reading, which is very difficult to do. Superior in Sight Reading. Reading for the very first time. At this time, I'd like to also bring back to the stage Mr. Enrique Sanchez playing Memories of You. Enrique Sanchez. And they're very versed in jazz. You know, it's interesting, there's a lot of different jazz terminology that we have. It's not the same as string terminology. So all this week we were learning what open means and soloing means and taking it again and vamping and first time only. So they're regular professional musicians now, these string orchestra members. I call them the hardest musicians in show business, hardest working musicians in show business. All right.
Enrique Sanchez, Memories of You. Next, we would like to bring on Mr. Jeremy Lappet, playing a song I am sure you've heard of before, Dave Brubeck's Take 5. Mr. Jeremy Lappet. Jeremy Lappin. Mr. Alex Lavelle. Alex Lavelle. Jeremy Lappin. The String Orchestra. Alex Lavelle. Charlie Patel, Tricia Sanchez. Wonderful. I'm going to invite Maya back on stage, and I'm going to hand the stage up to her and let her take over for this segment. Strings, we're going to go off stage.
Me and this stand, we're gonna have challenges. I'm gonna win though. So, how are you enjoying this magnificent concert? I'm just really impressed by the body of knowledge these young people have and their dedication. I hear that some of their practices start at 6:45 in the morning. I'm an evil woman at 6:45. I don't know that I would do anything but make money at 6:45. So the fact that these children are getting up and their parents are getting up and taking them, kudos to y'all. So we have been so blown away by the student talent. We wanted to do something to reflect that on our own. So these are all of the instructors that work here and all of the guests that were invited here tonight. We are going to perform one of my favorite Nancy Wilson songs, and it's called Happy Talk. It's from an album that she did with Cannonball Adderley, and I thought the song was really appropriate for the times that we're living in. If you turn on the news will make you believe that everything is terrible, right? But, right? We have the power to change what's in our lives by thinking happy thoughts, talking about our dreams, talking about our wants and desires. So this is a song to remind you that you have to have a dream. That's your first place. And if you don't have a dream, you don't have anything. So when we're looking at how to encourage these young people towards the future, you gotta have a dream. That means you too. So this is Happy Talk, and I hope you enjoy it.
talking a happy talk. I talk about things you like to do. You gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, I ain't gonna have a dream come true. I talk about a moon floating in the sky, looking like a lily on a lake. Talk about a bird learning how to fly, making all the music he can make. Talk about things you like to do. You know that you gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how you gonna know a dream come true? Looking like a toy, peeking through the branches of a tree. Well, you talk about a girl, then you talk about a boy, counting all the ripples on the sea. I've been talking about every time. I talk about the things that you would like to do. You gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how you gonna have a dream come true? You gotta have a dream. If you do not have a dream, a 1, 2, 3, say. I'm gonna have a dream come true.
Maya Sykes, Jeremy Lockett, Enrique Sanchez, Alex Lavelle, Tyler Patel, Lisa Sanchez. Wow. What do you think? Justin Padilla. You know, I hope your hands don't hurt from clapping because we have some more thanks and claps to do. But just let's hold our applause to the very end because this is a long list. This is a fun, fabulous, exciting concert. And you know, it's right in the middle of Jazz Festival season. And there's a lot going on for everybody. Students, parents, you know, it's testing. We have the WASC committee coming here, the high school. Everybody's really, really busy. And this is where the spotlight classless production lands, and I do a few things, students do a lot, and we could not make this happen without the support of the parents. So
So let me share with you who they are. It's a long list, right? There's a lot of aspects to the show. So our Spotlight co-chairs, Lynn Cass, Jody Leiter, and Candice Lopez. Round of applause for them. Our graphic artist and program designer, Carmela Murray. Our set designer, Roger Waterman and his amazing crew, including Matthew Timney, Doug McIntosh, Frank Orlando, Jeff Rucker, and Kyle Kaiser. Our VIP experience coordinator, Shanna Peterson. VIP caterer, Kim Foley. If you were in the VIP, you had dinner tonight, that was Kim Foley. Ticket coordinators, Ceci Chang and Jan Schultz. Publicity and promotion coordinator, Allison Cotter. Green room coordinator and backstage manager, she's backstage, Colleen Ryan. Making all of the backstage happen, going on perfectly, smoothly, she's a professional. We have our middle school coordinators, Karen Green and Claudia and Mark Reed. And all of the other parents, volunteers, too numerous to mention here, who helped this concert happen. A round of applause for all of them. Now, of course, we have, this could not happen without a wonderful, amazing booster board. We have Shannon Timney, President. Don McIntosh, Vice President. Karen Denyer, Secretary. Karen Orlando, Treasurer. And Loretta Perry, Director of Fundraising. Round of applause for the high school jazz boosters. Matthew Waterman, who is an alumni of this program, helped with the video editing. David Barcliffe from Jordan High School helped. Jeff Lopez from Decra Light for donating the lighting gear for tonight. A round of applause for those members. And of course, our high school crew, our staff from high school and the students. We have Chap Cooper, the sound engineer. Chap, round of applause. Doing great work back there. Mr. Beckett Jitlow Johnson, our PAC technical director. And Mr. Eric Ruckman, who's backstage assistant technical director. I hope I said that correctly. And of course, all of the tech students here backstage here at Los Al High School. Round of applause for all of them. I told you there's a lot of people helping. Ladies and gentlemen, Jazz 1, Enrique Sanchez, Jeremy Lappin.
Common Phenomena, Jeremy Lockett, Enrique Sanchez, Jazz One. We come to our last song of the night. Hope you've enjoyed the show. This is a song that we play, closer for our jazz festival, is entitled Black Orpheus. Thank you all for coming tonight. This is Los Al Jazz One. You'll hear from Santiago Lopez on the tenor saxophone. You'll hear from Noah Timoney on the baritone saxophone. Brennan Royer will take a drum solo, and you'll hear from our rhythm section playing some samba drumming. This is Los Al Jazz One, Black Orpheus. Here we go.
McAuliffe Youth Center, Jazz 2, Jazz 3, Jeremy Lockett, Enrique Sanchez, Maya Sykes, Spotlight. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Los Al Jazz 1, Maya Sykes, Enrique Sanchez, Jeremy Lockett, super special guests. And of course you being here. We appreciate you being here and spending this night with us. Are there any students out there that know this? Take it back. Come on out, you guys. Come over here. Down here, come over here. Come over here. Over here, keep walking. Down over here. Keep coming. All right, come over here. Michael, come over here. Come over here. There we go. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Aaron, keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Thanks, man. Oh, super. Oh, let us go. Back, back. If anybody wants to come take a solo, come on stage. If anyone wants to come take a solo, come on stage. Mr. Harrow, the tuba, Mr. Fontaine. Get up here. If anybody wants a solo, come on stage. This is just a B-flat blues. All right. All right. It's just a B-flat blues. Come on, you got it. Just go on up. Just come on up. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Round of applause, right here. Fantastic. One more. Here we go, one more. Fantastic. I think they're going to go all night long. Go, Maya. Everybody play. Here we go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Oak Middle School, McAuliffe Middle School, Youth Center Variety Band, Jazz 1, Jazz 2, Jazz 3, Maya Sykes, Enrique Sanchez, Jeremy Lappet. They will be in the lobby signing autographs and selling merch. Thank you very much. Good night.